Yeah, today is the 10th of June, so we're having a MicroProfile AI discussion. Okay, so go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, so last week Jan gave us a demo of what he did.
Week
I think it
before
was
last week.
recorded. Yeah,
No, it was
last week?
not last week. The week before last week.
Or maybe,
Let me
yeah.
share the screen.
And so we started talking about that. And as we know, it's either we specify and implement or we implement and specify. And in this group, we decided to code first. So, implement things and then specify if needed. So we started with this GitHub repository on MicroProfile. That's where Jan was, initiating his code. But I came with a different idea that I wanted to expose you.
Okay.
Because if you look at, I'm gonna put it in the minutes.
Yeah.
If you look at this repo,
Yeah.
that's the LangChain 4J Spring Boot starter repo. And what's interesting here is typically I can, let me show you.
Let me stop share. You can share. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So let me share then. Uh, Sorry. Oh, it's freezing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Oh, everything is frozen. Okay. Well, okay. So I will not share. I don't know what's happening, but
So
okay.
do you want me to share?
Well, yeah, you can share.
Let me share.
I'm gonna
So
give
you
you
can talk
another
through.
link. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
just let me share. So launching 4G Spring
Yeah, click on maybe the third one,
starter.
Azure OpenAI, yeah, Spring Boot Starter. And if you go to SRC, yeah, SRC, main, Java dev language, first, yep. So here you have typically the first class, autoconfig. And here it's a Spring producer. So here they're just producing beans. So if you look at the Spring Boot starter, it's only 3 or 4 classes. And what do? Well, they use LangChain 4J APIs and produce beans the Spring way. So I was thinking, and as you can see, that's a different GitHub repo. It's called LangChain 4J Spring.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what about creating a LangChain 4J CDI? And we could do
Yeah.
the same thing. We could only have a set of producers and produce LangChain 4J APIs the CDI way. So in one hand, you have the LangChain 4J repo, then the LangChain 4J Spring, and we could have the LangChain 4J CDI. And actually, I talked to the LangChain 4J team, and they say, yeah, we could create a GitHub repo under LangChain 4J. You do all your CDI stuff. You make sure they're all tested and follow our guidelines, our license, and that's good enough. And we were discussing about that, and I think starting with a LangChain CDI repo could make more sense because it's under LangChain 4J. It's at the same level of Spring. So you have Spring Boot starters in one end, you have CDI producers on the other hand. It could be tested against the LangChain 4J. So each time there's a new release or a new PR merge on the core LangChain 4J, the LangChain 4J team could run, a build of our CDI code and making sure it's aligned. It could be on their BOM. So once you depend on the LangChain 4J BOM, you also have all the CDI, like what they do with Spring. So I was thinking in terms of adoption, it would be easier for people to get the LangChain 4J CDI. And also in terms of feedback, we will have more CDI users. We will get more feedback. We could fix things, add new features. And maybe that could be, in 6 months, one year, when we have enough features, enough support, we could maybe then move on to specifying or moving on to the MicroProfile GitHub repo. So I was just thinking maybe it would be easier to bootstrap a LangChain 4J CDI repo with all the LangChain 4J infrastructure, with all the LangChain 4J community that is becoming bigger and bigger. And, wait for the feedback, see how the community uses it, and then we will decide what to do next.
Yeah, I think the sounds good for CDI and etc. The thing is which beans you want basically is which beans you want basically create. What kind of CDI beans
Oh,
we want to create?
the basic ones. If you look at the Spring code, if you go into the auto config class, we could do the same thing. They expose chat model languages, they expose tokenizers, they expose a bunch of LangChain 4J APIs that you could just inject. And we could do the same thing. We could go step by step. As you can see under the Spring repo, they only have now only a few Spring Boot starters, OpenAI, Olama, Azure OpenAI, and we could do the same following the LangChain 4J modules. We could take the LangChain 4J OpenAI module to produce the OpenAI language model, produce the OpenAI tokenizer, and so on, and move on module per module.
Yes,
I
and
think
this,
yeah, go
sorry.
for it.
Do not prevent us after to make some more interesting stuff like auto creating the services to call LangChain for Johnson as I have started some weeks ago.
Yep. Yeah.
But in terms of visibility and help of community, yes, perhaps going into LangChain 4G repository as of now, it is a better idea. I'm agree with Antonio.
So it's I think it's yeah, it's good to get started. I mean, base by base, piece by piece. So it's a kind of this is pretty much user configuration. So
Yeah, and if you look at it, they
you will
expose.
have you will have to use this is pretty much you need to use a MicroProfile config for
Yep,
the
exactly.
CDI injection.
Yeah, exactly. And produce, the Azure OpenAI stream chat model, the Azure OpenAI model, the Azure OpenAI embedding models, all, each time you have an add bean, we could do the same thing with CDI. So you're using the MicroProfile config.
Yeah, but I would not just like focus on Azure kind of thing. I think we need to be kind of look at some other models.
Yeah, look at OpenAI or Olama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olama. If you have a look, yeah, this one. And same, you have an auto config. And if you click on it, they expose the Olama chat model, the Olama streaming chat model. So they only expose a few things.
Yeah, looks like different basically LLM have different models like
Yep.
Llama also different and Azure different.
Yeah. Anthropic,
In this case,
OpenAI, Gemini.
yeah. So in this case, there will be a lot, right? There will be a lot
Yep.
things.
Yep. Well, if you look at the LangChain 4J project, there's about a
Yeah,
dozen of models. So here, the Spring repo only has 4, but we basically could take each LangChain 4J module and create a CDI module. So Gemini, Azure OpenAI, OpenAI, Olama, Anthropic, name them.
yeah, all the open source ones.
Yep.
It's ideally, ideally, basically, if all these model use a common interface, but that's not,
Yep. They do.
that would be much easier. Now it's kind of they're all different.
Oh, yeah, but each one implements
Mm-hmm.
its chat model. So LangChain 4J, in the LangChain 4J core,
Yeah,
you have chat model, and then all the Olama, Azure AI, OpenAI, they all implement this interface. But they are all different because all the parameters are all different.
yeah.
Ones have temperature, the other one have max tokens, the other one have top P, bias, so on. So that's why they do implement the same interface, which is defined in LangChain 4J core, but they are all different because they all take different parameters.
Okay. So yeah. So it's let's think about, for example, just like for the scenario, you have first we implement Azure for the AI, OpenAI, kind of CDI, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then you publish kind of the few bins.
Yeah.
And then what next?
Well, then people, instead of you using, because here what they do is, if you have a Spring Boot application, you
Mm,
will not depend on the LangChain 4J module. You will
mm,
depend on LangChain 4J Spring module.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
same thing would happen if you are in a MicroProfile or Jakarta EE environment. You would just depend on the LangChain 4J CDI module.
Yeah. And then it's kind of basically you have this bin. You get that bin, you can directly create a chat.
Exactly. You can automatically inject an OpenAI model and start playing with it.
So that would be this will be create extra bins, extra CDI bins, and then you can
Yep.
inject
Mhm.
and call it. I think yeah, it's sounds kind of feasible. The other thing is for this rack. So this could be a similar thing. Maybe this is even easier because RAG is directly just connected to some vector stores.
Yeah, you see here
Again, RAG also is bins.
yeah, they produce document splitters, tokenizers. We could do the same. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
this is easier because it's not LLM kind of dependent.
Yeah, but I'm not sure it's easier because um, the the problem we have with LLMs being all different, we will have the same problem with vector stores. If you look at LangChain 4J, there's about dozens of vector stores. PG vector, quadrant, chroma, and so on. And they are all different.
Yeah, I think for that, for vectors, probably is kind of just choose the most popular one and go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Same
Uh,
with models. We don't have to implement all of them at the beginning. We can do like the Spring Folks. We can, produce code, models, the biggest models that are being used, the biggest, the most popular vector store, and then we will see later.
yeah. Okay, sounds good. So, who will do this?
Well,
I
that
want to
will
continue.
mean the LangChain4j team. We will have to approach them. I've already approached them and talked to them. They like the idea, but they basically they can create the repo for us. They
Yeah,
can create the CI/CD pipeline for us. They can deploy on Maven Central for us.
yeah,
But then we have to make sure to follow the guidelines, make sure we test our code, make sure basically we will start being responsible. We will have to fix issues, merge PRs if needed. So we will be kind of responsible for this repo, but they will, of course, maintain it and do the CI/CD, etc., etc. So if you want, I can approach them and ask them to join us at the next meeting if it's possible for them, and we could start talking about that. If you all feel it's a good idea, I can approach Dimitro this week, and if he's available next Monday, we could have a meeting with him about explain us what are the constraints, what we need to do, what is your licensing, etc., etc. And then if we both agree, well, that could be a path that we could follow.
yeah. Sounds good. I'm not sure next week. I think I may be traveling. I mean, oh yeah. Yeah. I will definitely traveling Monday next week. But anyway, if the rest you are all okay, go ahead to have that recorded. So also is if not next week, maybe a week after. So it's I think that's a good idea. However, I think it's kind of even before the repo to be created, I think it's maybe it's kind of do some prototype. If
Yeah,
we do go through this route, could use them like a small right LLM, just a fork
yeah,
the
that's
Spring,
true.
and then do the CDI one, and then at least when we talk to them, we know exactly what we are talking about, what we need. It's not like all the theory and etc. I
Good
think
point.
yeah, we need someone to fork that. Any we will take a one at least and to run with it. And who will be able to do that?
Jan, the code that you wrote, it's basically kind of what we were showing on the Spring repo, isn't it?
Yes, let me share my screen to show you. Oh, it is closed. Desktop. For example, I'm going a little bit more further, in fact.
Yeah,
At the beginning, it was two extension. And typically, for example, in this particular Azure OpenAI extension, I have a producer.
yeah,
It is not, a standard producer like we can see into the Spring repository because I got the approach to use a build compatible extension. Or let's say portable, it could be the same things. So, but yes, it was very close to that because I was, in my mind, I was thinking about making some producer for each chat model. And after what I have, which is going more further than what we just saw in Spring side, It's that we have the AI service creator, which is able to, to do the glue code between your simple interface, like in Quarkus, and the code you want to do. So perhaps this could be kept to be done in a second time in the Langchain4j repository. But yes, I can get my code and put it into the Langchain4j team way of working.
Yeah. So to Antonio's point, so it's I think the first part, module producer. So basically you are trying to produce some beans. So you already use MicroProfile config. So that's great. So if you can check this one under LLM, small right dash LLM, do you have access to that repo?
Small LLM, yes, I put it some code
Yeah.
in.
Oh, you already added.
Yes, the code you are currently seeing is in the repository of SmallRye. In the branch.
It's in the SmallRye
LLM.
LLM.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't know that. Thank you. Let me see. So you have a PR there, right?
Yeah, it's in a PR which is in draft, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I saw it. Get code. So in this case, we all kind of review it. I would say basically maybe it's kind of we review it and then hopefully can merge in experiment and then it can continue
Yes,
the
just to have
discussion.
some returns. And at the beginning, please,
Yeah.
you can. It's easy to play with it.
So I like the idea about merging Jan's PR. I could take a default Langchain4j sample and use these extensions, these reducers, see how well it integrates. If it works well, we could maybe create a second module. Jan has created Azure OpenAI. We could do Olama, test different ones. Write another sample. And if we have 2 or 3 samples up and running, and we've polished everything and everything is smooth, then maybe, we could go to the Langchain4j team and say, this is what we wrote. This is how it works. We would like to put that in a Langchain4j CDI repo. Is it okay with us, for you? Come and talk to us. That could be something. Is it okay for everybody? We could start on the LLM repo, enriching Jan's modules, like I was saying, Azure OpenAI, but we could have Olama, we could have a third one maybe, and make sure we have samples and they follow the Langchain4j way of developing. And once we all happy with that, we could talk to them.
Yeah, I like that. That's great. That's exactly we experiment. We know what we are talking about. So
yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Yeah. So in that case, maybe we use this week and next week to polish up. We are on the same page. And then approach. Basically, you can start talking to them, and then, I mean, on the what time? On the 24th.
Okay.
24th to see whether they can join.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Even though it is the 1st of July, so in that kind of that would be great. And then also I will take a further look at review the PR. I think everybody should review the PR, and then if you know kind of the concerns and etc., we can merge in, and then you kind of create a more PR. Antonio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
sounds
I have
good.
a hard stop. I have to go. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
me too. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Yan, for sharing this.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.